Good evening, friends. Now I have to explain which function, greatest integer function. Okay, so see this function. Okay, so now I am going to define this function, so-called greatest integer function. You will represent in this way. This is a representation of greatest integer function of x. You can speak also GIF of x, and the meaning of this function is what? Greatest integer less than or equal to x. Okay, so now how will you represent? Before this, I want to tell you some more about this greatest integer less than or equal to x. What is the meaning of this statement? Let students, I am taking here if students see here, suppose I am asking to you what is the value of 0.9, greatest integer of 0.9. This is an issue. Okay, next is minus 0.9. okay, next is I am asking to you what is the value of 0.9 minus 0.9, and after that 1.2, sorry 1. What is the value of greatest integer of 1? Greatest integer of 1.2. okay, similarly greatest integer of 0. What is the greatest integer of minus 1? okay, next is greatest integer of minus 1.2. okay, what is the value of greatest integer of plus 0.9 minus 0.9 plus 1 minus 1 positive 1.2 minus 1.2 minus 2.1 and positive 2.1. okay, these are, I have taken some real numbers. okay, here at this point these are at the place of x I have changed. okay, so how will I find out the values? See here. So actually the meaning of this statement is what? Greatest integer less than or equal to x. So less than or equal, what is your x right now? Your x is 0.9. okay, and next is minus, your x is minus 0.9. I will tell you how will you determine the values of these functions. It's a x is less than 0.9. actually this is the meaning, less than or equal to 0 x. So x is, what is your right now x? This is your x. okay, this is also your x, it is also x. okay, so this will give you less than 0.9, and similarly less than minus 0.9, less than or equal 1, less than or equal 1.2. okay, less than 0, less than or equal minus 1, less than or equal minus 1.2, less than or equal 2.1, less than or equal plus 2 minus 2.1, and it is positive 2.1. so students, one by one I will tell you. Tell me here, this is the meaning less than or equal to x, and now is what? Integers. So what are the integers which are less than or equal 0.9? so integers which are less than or equal 0.9, see here, it's a 0. Listen, I will also make here graph, but it is very less actually due to spaces. Here I will confirm it's a plus 1, positive 1, it's a positive 2, and here is positive 3. okay, similarly it is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, positive 1. Positive direction of y-axis, it represents plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and minus 4. okay students, so when your x, the values of x is what? 0.9. so what are the integers which are less than or equal? So this will be, if 0.9, see here, it's a 0.9 will be lie at this point. This is 0, it is 0, and it is 1, suppose. So 0.9 will be lie at this point. See everything. okay, so at for 0.9, so what are the integers? It's a 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, so on. So students, finally tell me what is the greatest of these integers. 0 is greatest, so because of this the greatest integer less than or equal 0.9, that is what the greatest integer is 0. So means the value of greatest integer of 0.9 is what? 0. Now student, I am going to talk about the minus 0.9. At minus 0.9, see here, at minus 0.9 here, this thing, minus 0.9 here, at minus 0.9. Okay, so tell me what are the integers less than or equal minus 0.9. This is what? Minus 1, okay, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So it will be greatest is minus 1. So where is your minus 1? Where is your minus 1? It's your minus 1. Okay, this is value of, at first I will write here, after that I will explain. In this way you will find out the value. What is minus 0.1? This is minus 1. Similarly for 1, it is also for less than or equal 1, so we will write 1 also due to equality, then 0, minus 1, minus 2, so greater is also 1. Similarly for 1.2, for 1.2, what is the number which is less than or equal 1.2, but it should be integer, so 1, 0, minus 1 and minus 2, so greater is again 1. At 0, that will be the 0 is equal already 0. Next is minus 1, minus 2, so we will get a 0 again. At minus 1, student, at minus 1, at minus 1 it will be again start with the actually due to equality here, it will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, so greater is what? Minus 1. For minus 1.2, tell me for minus 1.2 what is the integers which is less than or equal minus 1.2? This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, so it is also minus 1. And minus 2.1, at minus 2.1, see here, at minus 2.1 the integers are what? Minus 2.1. here where is minus 2.1? It's a minus 2, and here is minus 2.1. okay, so this what is the integer which is less than or equal minus 2.1? It's a minus 3, okay, minus 4, minus 5, so greater is what? Minus 3. Similarly for 2.1, you are getting 2.1 is what? For 2.1 you will get what? You will get a 2, 3, sorry, 2, 1, 0, so greater is also 2. Okay students, any issue? No issue with this portion. So students, in this way you can determine the values. Okay, now students, I will also explain it in deeply form. See here, here one by one we will learn. In this way I have explained you. In this way you will find out the greatest integer. Now students, see here, I have taken some values. Actually now we will take many values from here, okay, and after that I will also make the graph. It's x and y. Here I have to take some values. So student, what we have learned? We have learned at x is equal 0. Suppose that I am taking here x is equal 0. At x is equal 0, what will be the y? What will be the y? See here, at x is equal 0. At x equal 0, so students, what is your function? Your function is y is equal f of x is equal what? G of give of x. So you can write at x is what? 0. So y is equal f of 0. See here, x is what? 0. So the value of greatest integer of 0. So this will give you what? See here, how will you? It should be less than or equal 0. And what are the integers which is less than or equal to 0? At first 0, then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So this will give you what? Every time 0. So you will write, this is called the value of y. Is it clear? Now after that I am going to take, next is I want to take which? I will remove this portion. Now I'm going to take the after 0 here is, suppose I want to take the minus 0.1. What is the value of minus 0. X is equal, I am taking what, minus 0.1. so y is equal what, fx is equal in this way gif of x, and this is what, minus 0.1. so what is the value, how will you determine? I have explained before this. So minus 0.1, that will be less than or equal what, minus 0.1 is less than or equal what, minus, what is the integer which is less than or equal minus 0.1. so we are, see here, by suppose this is minus 1, so minus 0.1 will be at this point, okay, minus 0.1. so the integer which is less than or equal minus 0.1, so this will be minus 1, then minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. so what is the greatest? Greatest is minus 1. Okay, is it clear, student? So when you are taking x is what, minus 0.1, means here minus 0.1, if you are taking x, these are the values of x, so x is when minus 0.1, so y is what, y is minus 1. Okay, now if you are taking x is, suppose that you are taking x as positive 0.1, sorry, positive 0.1, so it will be also positive 0.1. so what is the value of gif of 0.1? so this will give you, see here, how will you, so it will be 0.1. so tell me the numbers which is here 0.1, where will be 0.1? suppose this is 0.1 and 0.1 will be here at this point, 0.1, then 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and after that you will get a 1. But what are the integers is less than or equal 0.1? so this will be, at first we will write what, 0, okay, then what will be after that, minus 1, then minus 2, minus 3. so greatest is what, 0, means at x is equal 0.1 you will get every time 0 up to 0. If I am asking to you at 0.9, tell me at 0.9, at 0.9 what will be the value? so again you will get what, 0 at, if you are taking x is equal 0.9, so here the value of y is what, the value of y at 0.9. tell me the integers which is less than or equal 0.9. 0.9 will be like at this point here actually, okay, so 0.2, what are the integers between less than or equal 0.9? this is suppose 0.9, so the first integer is less than or equal 0.9 is 0, after that minus 1, after that minus, so greatest is what, 0. so because of this, if you are taking x is what, 0.9, so value of the y is, means value of the function is 0. Okay, after that I am going to tell you what, see next, if I am taking minus 0.9, so see here, it's a minus 0.9, okay, it is again minus 0.9, and now tell me, this is something different here. Now student, tell me, see again, by graph we can understand very easily, minus 1, it's a plus 1, so it's a minus 0.9, so where will be minus 0.9? it's a minus 0.1, minus 0.2, minus 0.3, minus 0.5, similarly this is minus 0.9. okay, so now tell me, it's a minus 0.9, so what is the less than or equal, what is the integer which is less than or equal 0.9? so it will be minus 1. okay, so this will give you what, minus 1. okay, so finally tell me more, I will take some more values. If I am taking x is what, suppose that I am taking x is equal, it is depend on all of us, whatever we want to take we can take here at the place of x. Here you can take all the real numbers. Okay, because of this domain of this function I will explain before the graph. Here the value of the domain will be, the domain of this function will be real number. So if you are taking x is equal 1.2, if you are taking x is what, 1.2, so see here, if x is 1.2, x is what, 1.2, so tell me what is the value of the gif of 1.2? so it will give you what, tell me what is the value here, it's a 1.2. if you are taking 1.2, so the integer which is less than or equal 1.2, this is what, it's a 1, then 0, then minus 1, so greatest integer is what, 1. okay, 1.2 up to 1.9 you are getting every time 1. If you are taking 2, so you will get every time 2. How? See here, if you are taking x is what, 2, okay, so this is also, actually it is GIF of x, so you have to write 2 at the place of x, so this is 2. Now students, see here, how will you determine? So this should be less than or equal to, so it is start from the 2 due to equality, so it is 2, 1, 0, minus 1, so the greatest is what, 2. So because of the value of this GIF of 2 is every time 2. Okay, now I am going to take something difference. Now students, I am going to take, suppose that I am 0.1. Now I am going to take the minus 1.2. Minus 1.2. So what is the value of minus 1.2? See here, y is equal fx at हमें चाहिए x is equal minus 1.2. We need this portion minus 1. So y is equal fx is equal GIF of x. So y is equal fx is equal, now your x is what, minus 1.2. Okay, so what is the value of this minus 1 GIF of minus 1.2? So this will give you minus 1.2, and the value is what, it will be, tell me the integer which is less than or equal minus 1.2. So it is minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So the greatest integer is minus 2. Is it clear? If you are taking 2.3 here, positive 2.3, so what are the integer will again be what is the integer which is less than or equal 2.3? It will be 2 again, and if you are taking 3, so it will be also 3. Okay, any issue? Now I will take here also minus 1.9. If you are taking minus 1.9, tell me integer, what is the GIF of minus 1.9? If you are taking, see here, minus 1.9, if you are taking x is here minus 1.9, so y is equal fx is equal GIF of minus 1.9. so minus 1.9, it is also less than what, minus 2, minus 3, minus, so it will again you get what, minus 2. Okay, if you are taking minus 2, so you will again get what, minus 2. Okay, is it clear? If you are taking suppose that you are taking minus 2.1, okay, or after that I will write here minus 3 also, so this will again give you what, minus 3. And now tell me what is the value of minus 2.1 GIF of minus, it's depend on you. Again and again I am telling you, you can take all the real numbers at the place of x. Okay, so because of this, the domain of this function is what, real number, and these things will give you what, range. Okay, so now I have to take here minus 2.1. so this is what, now I will take minus 2.1, minus 2.1. okay, so y is fx is equal, here I want to take minus 2.1. okay, so student, tell me here the integer which is less than or equal minus 2.1. minus 2.1 means, see here again the graph, it's a minus 1, minus 2, and here is minus 2.1 is here at this point, this give you minus 2.1. so the number which is less than or equal minus 2.1, this is what, minus 3, minus 4, so the number will be minus 3. so because of this, it's a minus 3. Is it clear? Now I am going to draw the graph by the help of this table. Okay, see here, any issue, students? Now I am going to draw the graph. It is very important to draw the graph of this function. Now students, I am going to make the graph of this greatest integer function. It is plus 1. This is positive direction of x-axis, and by also negative direction of x-axis is the positive direction of y-axis, it is negative direction of y-axis. So students, I have located all the points. It's a positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4. Similarly, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 is it's a positive direction of y-axis, 1, 2, 3, and it is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So students, see here, when x is 0, so y is already 0. When x is 0.1 to 0.9, see here, every time if you are seeing here at 0.1 to 0.9, okay, what is your integer, what is your value? It's a 0. Okay, so you can represent it by node. Now students, at it's a 1, it's a plus 1. At 1 to 2, it's a plus 2. At 1 to 2, 1.2 to 1.9. Every time your value of the function is what? Value of bi is what? These are the value of bi. It is every time 1. So you can write in this way. This is hollow circle and it is give you the value is 2. At x is equal to 2, so bi is also 2, and in this way you will get the graph. Okay, up to 2 to 2.9 you will get a directly what? 2 to 2.3 to 2.9 you will get a 2 every time. But at x is equal 3, see here, at x is equal 3 the value of the bi is also 3. Okay, at 3 to 3.9 you will get same graph here. Now students, see for the negative. When x is 0, it is already, when x is minus 0.1 means minus 0.1. So tell me, the value of function value of bi is already what? At minus 0.1, minus 0.1, the integer, your value of bi is what? Minus 1. Okay, here in this way you will get minus 1 every time. Minus 0.1 to minus 0.9 you are getting what? Minus 1. In this way you can define. At 0 the value of bi is already 0. Okay, and the next is what? At minus 1.2, minus 1.2 to minus 1.9 you are getting what? You are getting every time minus 2. So you can define in this way. Okay, this is the graph for minus 1.2 to minus 1. And minus 2 to what is the plot? What is the graph for the x is equal minus 2? Your bi is also minus 2. And when x is minus 2.1, I am taking, if I mean taking minus x is equal minus 2.1 means here minus 2.1. So value of bi is what? Minus 3, means it will be here in this way. Minus 2.1 you can get this graph. Okay, and x is equal minus 3, this is already 3. Okay, finally this is the graph of this greatest integer function. And domain is a what? What is the domain? Domain of this function is every time you can see here all the real numbers. Okay, here you are getting all the real numbers, so domain is real number. Okay, all the set of values of x for which the function is defined for all the values. If you are putting x is equal 0.9, so you are getting a what? Definite value. So what is the range? Range is very special. Range means all the values of the bi, you can say here all the values of bi, they can be the integers. Okay, so the range is what? Integers. Integer can be two type, positive and negative. Okay student, thank you.